Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Lydia. Welcome to my room. Come on. Come. This is my bedroom, and I'm going to take you along on a little tour of my room. Walking into the room, you hit the bulk of my room with my bed, and then turning immediately to the left is my vanity. My vanity is one of my most used places in my bedroom. This is where I sit to do my hair and makeup every single day. I didn't have a vanity in my Dallas apartment, and I missed having one so much. I would just get ready in the bathroom, but having a designated place to get ready every morning, I feel like just romanticizes the process. It makes me feel like a princess, and I love it. So this is where I keep most of my makeup. I have my everyday makeup on top on this little shelf, and my bigger collection and like my back stock of products in the drawers. I also keep my everyday hair products in here. My hair tools I keep underneath my bathroom sink, but for the products that I use after the shower, I keep in the drawers, as well as any bobby pins or hair ties or clips. All that kind of thing I keep in the drawers of my vanity. I'll show you what I have on top of my vanity as well. So on the left, I have a little box that says she leaves a little sparkle wherever she goes. This was gifted to me by a very special family friend, and I love it. On top, I have a Lauderate macaroon box, and I'll show you what's inside. So this is where I keep all of my pins for pin curls. I liked that this was an easy way to keep them all together, but still a really beautiful and aesthetic way to store them. So this is your sign to keep all of your macaroon boxes, they can come in handy. I also like to keep a couple pieces of my everyday jewelry out. I'll show you where the rest of my jewelry is stored, but these are just things that I wear most often. So I have my swan brooch, a couple of earrings, and then some necklaces and bracelets that I wear the most often. I have my Penhaligon's The Favorite perfume and my Glinda headband. I think these just look so pretty on top of my vanity, and it's nice to keep my Penhaligon's fragrance in the box, and I think the box is so pretty. This is where I keep my everyday makeup, the makeup that I use the most often and that I reach for the most, and so I have things like my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, my setting spray, my favorite mascaras, concealer, blushes, my NARS Afterglow blush, of course, and then I have a couple of palettes stacked on top of each other with my setting powder on top. And then I of course have my everyday brushes as well. I keep them in this little gold cup, and then my sponge. And then I have a few more perfumes on this side as well. This is my signature Carolina Herrera Good Girl perfume, my YSL Black Opium, and my Angel Share by Kilian. And then I just have a little orchid plant on this side for decoration. Moving further into the room to the right, this is my main dresser. So this keeps my workout clothes, my pajama sets, my lounge sets, and then bras and panties. And then in this top drawer, I have the rest of my jewelry. And then on top, I of course have my little swan. She is so beautiful and watches over me at night, and I just love her so much. And then I have a couple of coffee table books on here as well. I have my Barbie book, my Story of Oz. I have two Megan Hess books, the Christian Dior and Grace Kelly. And then I have my Bible study, and then my everyday devotional. And then we have reached my bed. So this is obviously the bulk of my room. I would say most of the furniture pieces in my room I have had since this room was redone my freshman year of high school, which was a while ago, unfortunately. But I would say the bedding is what has changed the most. I think this is probably my favorite bedding that I've had in this room. I think it's so cozy and comfy. I do think that I might want to switch out the couple of faux fur pieces for the summer and maybe get something a little lighter, but I think it's really beautiful. I love that it's mostly white and pretty, then it has a couple of pink pops as well. And then to give you a little bit of a close-up, this is one of my bedside tables. I personally prefer to keep my bedside table decoration to a minimum, just because I'm someone that really uses my bedside table. So on an average night, I will probably have a cup of tea, my Stanley full of water, and the book that I'm reading, and my glasses, and my chapstick. And so in terms of decor, I like to keep them pretty minimal. I just have a lily and a really pretty pink candle. And I really do love this bedding. Most everything is from PB Teen, and I know I'm probably a little too old to be ordering things from PB Teen, but I still love them. This white layer is a duvet cover, which I have a duvet insert in, and then my throw blanket with the matching pillows and my fringe pillow as well, which I think is so cute. Above my bed, this is a painting that I picked out again freshman year of high school, and this is the one thing in my room that I would really love to change. And while I have loved it and I think it's been a great addition to my room for so long, I feel like the colors don't go as well with my room as they once did. And so I would really like to replace this painting and do maybe some wall paneling on this wall of my bedroom, just behind my headboard. I think that would be really, really pretty. Coming to the other nightstand, I have some candles on this side. So I have my pink and pearl candlesticks with some tall candles, and then I have a little mini candle holder with a pink votive inside. I don't like these very often, but when I do, I think it gives the room a really pretty ambiance. And then in this bedside table, which is not the side that I sleep on, I keep mostly books. That is one of the biggest issues of my room, is that I don't have a great place to store books. I don't have an actual bookshelf in my room. The bulk of my books is stored on a bookshelf outside of my room, but for the books that I want to read soon, I keep in these drawers. So you can see it's just absolutely books galore all the way down. And then in this drawer as well. So it makes the drawers very, very heavy, but it works for now. And I don't really need to store anything else in this. And then coming to the right of that, you have honestly one of my favorite corners of my room for decor. I just think this is so beautiful. My dad actually found this dress form for me and gave it to me for my birthday when I was in high school. And it is just one of my absolute prized possessions. It was actually black and red when he got it for me, and I painted it white. Of course, the black and red did not go very well with my room, but I just think it is absolutely beautiful. He found it at an antique store, and I am just so happy, and I love having it in my room. It reminds me of the dress from Cinderella, her mom's dress that she wears before the fairy godmother transforms it with the big bow. And then these three frames hold things that are very special to me. So this top frame holds the very first thing I ever sewed when I was learning to sew clothes and tailor clothes and sew dresses. The lady who taught me how to sew asked me what thing I was most excited to learn how to sew. And of course I said couture gowns, and she said, well, we're not quite there yet, but you can make a Barbie gown, because obviously the proportions are so tiny, you don't need a ton of fabric, and they're a little more simple to work with. And so this was my very first Barbie gown. It is a white column gown with a little bit of boning. I did a really pretty tulle layer at the waist, held on by a pearl belt, and then you can kind of see, but I made a bow out of lace in the back, and it drapes all the way down the skirt, and that's what you see coming around the back. It's kind of the first dress I ever designed, if you can call it that, but it was just so much fun, and it was such a great idea because it really invigorated my love for sewing and creating gowns. And maybe one day I'll make a life-size version for myself. The next thing down is a lottery bag, and this was from the very first time that I ever went to a lottery, which was my very first time ever in Paris. And it was a very, very surreal experience because I of course have had that on my list forever. I had it all over my Pinterest boards, and so I will always remember my time with this beautiful lottery bag. This is a masquerade mask that I wore to one of my friend's 21st birthday parties. She had a masquerade ball. Each of us had to dress in the style of our characters, and she actually chose masquerade masks for us that went along with our characters, and this one was mine. And I just think it is the most beautiful masquerade mask of all time. It kind of reminds me of the one from A Cinderella Story, and again just holds such special meaning in my heart, and it makes me so happy to have it displayed on my wall because it's not only beautiful but meaningful as well. So we're now facing opposite of my bed, and we have my desk set up. This is where I work from home. It's where I edit my YouTube videos. It's so nice to have a space to work in my room. But let me show you the decorations because that's the most fun part. So we'll start behind my desk with what is hanging on the wall. Again, these are things that I have saved over the years, and that is my favorite thing to do with decor. Because I do save everything, I'm such a little hoarder that I like to use these things as decor where I can. So starting at the top, we have the program for the Rocket show that I saw for my 16th birthday. This was the most fun night. It was actually the final year that the Rockettes performed in Nashville, and my parents got a limo to take me and my friends down there to see the show, and it's just one of my best birthday memories. It was so much fun. Coming to the right, you will see that I have 3 magazines hanging up as well. This is actually the magazine that I worked for after college. I worked for D Magazine for the Home and Weddings magazine, so I worked for D Home and D Weddings, and this is just such a part of my life. This was my very first job after college. It's what I think I'm the best at, is writing articles, and it's what I think I'll do forever, and I just love having that little part of me hanging up on my walls. If you took these magazines down and flipped through them, you would see articles that I wrote, which I think is just extra special. Coming to the center, this is from when I saw the Nutcracker at the Louisville Ballet. The theme of this Nutcracker was étoile, which means star in French, and it was such a beautiful ballet. And then last but not least, I have a couple of Met tickets. So these are from various trips to New York that I've taken over the years. And then I actually got to go to the Met during the 150 years of inspiring celebration, and that was just so special. I actually studied art history in college, and so I love having this little piece of a museum hanging on my wall. Coming down to my actual desk, we'll start from the left again. So of course I have my Christian Dior Barbie displayed on my desk because it is one of the most precious things that I own now. I got this for Christmas this year and she is absolutely gorgeous. I also have my Valespa Wicked candle, my Glinda candle, my perfectly pink yuzu candle, and I love it so much. I've been saving burning it because it's just too pretty, and I love this container. In this frame is a picture from a fashion exhibit that I went to when I was in Paris. This was at the Rodin Sculpture Museum, and they were actually having a fashion exhibit there. So in between the sculptures, they had these beautiful pieces of fashion that were inspired by the sculptures, and it was just such a beautiful mix of fashion and art, and I would absolutely die to go see that exhibit again. And then right next to it, we have the little trinket that my friend Shay brought me recently when she came to visit. This is a little trinket from Anthropologie when they did the collection with the Met. So it's actually perfect that I have that right by my Met tickets. Coming to the other side, so this candy jar in the back was actually my great grandmother's. So it was given to me when she passed away, and it is such a special piece in my collection because it's so gorgeous and intricate, and I love that it was hers. I don't keep anything in there, but I always imagine that one day when I have a house and people over, that I'll fill it with candy like she did, and I just love having it on my desk right there. I have a very cute picture of me, my mom, and my sister. This was from my sorority's mom's weekend in 2019, and I just think we look so cute in this picture, so I have that framed on my desk, as well as my kitty cat matches holder, which is my new favorite thing. I love the thing so much. I have actually already used up an entire round of these matches and have refilled it. So it holds the matches, and then you can strike on the bottom as well. I have my bow candle, which I actually have been burning, and I'm excited to use that one up as well and reuse this container. And then I have my pink Cinderella's carriage. As you can tell, I love a trinket, and I love a trinket that is very girly and very me, which is what this is. Coming down to the shelves below where all of my decorations are, I have a Paris tea light holder, which actually was given to me in middle school, and I've kept it all these years and I love it. You set a tea light in the middle, and it's just the most beautiful scene when you light the candle. And then below that, I have a couple more of my favorite coffee table books. I have Audrey in Paris, The Little Book of Chanel, and Romance the Everyday. On the opposite side, this is where I have a lot of my birthday cards. So if anyone ever gives me a birthday card or a Christmas card or a thank you card, I like to slide them in these little slots. I keep every card I've ever been given, so this isn't all of them. I have them saved in a trinket box in my closet, but these are the most recent ones, and it's just so nice to flip through and read the very sweet things that people said about me. Below that is my tiara. We had an assignment my freshman year of high school to give a speech in the first person of a character that we read a biography on, and so I chose Princess Diana, and I came to school in this tiara and wore it all day, not just for the speech. And it was the one time that I could get away with it because I kept saying that it was for an assignment, so I got to wear a tiara to school, and it was very fun. And then we have my desk drawers where I have, like what I was saying, just personnel stuff stored. And then this is my desk chair. Over top of it, I have my Theta blanket, which was my sorority in college. I love this thing, and it just gives the chair a little extra like coziness to it. Straight to the other side of that is my little side table. This was just to add an extra piece of decor in my room and to give me another place to store some coffee table books. So I have my ranunculus in the back, and then I have my Gâteau French cake cookbook, my Cocktails in Paris cookbook, and then I have 3 novels: A Paris Apartment by Michelle Gable, Made in Manhattan by Lauren Lane, and Barbie and Ruth by Robin Gerber. These ranunculus are actually faux flowers, and I think they are so pretty. I actually found these on Amazon, and I couldn't believe how pretty they were when they came out of the package. And then last but not least, as you can see, we're getting back to the beginning of my room. This is my closet. I have my full-length mirror on one side, and then I always keep a dress on this other side just for a little extra decor. I switch it out with the seasons. So this is actually a pretty small closet. It doesn't fit a ton of stuff, and so I keep my main bulk of clothes in a second closet outside of my room, but this is where I keep the clothes that are most in season and the things that I wear the most often, as well as the shoes and bags that I wear most often in that season. If you want me to do a full closet tour, I would be happy to. You saw a little bit of it when I did my closet clear out, but if you'd like a full dedicated closet tour, let me know. That is my room. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about my room. I love it. I think it is very, very me. It has been this way for a long time, but I have done a little bit of things over the years. So the things that are hanging above my desk I added probably 2 years ago, and then the 3 things hanging beside my dress form, those were also added 2-ish years ago, but everything else has pretty much been the same for a really long time. But my bedroom has always been my sanctuary. I have always had pink walls, and I just think I will always have a pink walled bedroom. Hopefully my future husband is okay with that, because it's like my little sanctuary, and I love being in my room. It makes me happy to be in my room, and I hope you all enjoyed this little tour. I hope you all enjoyed this little tour of my room. Please come back soon, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!